former teammate who you won a championship with?
Yeah, I mean, it was surprising that he would, with everything going on in the world, that he would take the time to single out Steph's White House invite, not Steph specifically, but his White House invite. It was bizarre, but at the end of the day, it's still sad that a year after Kaepernick takes that knee, we're still not talking about the actual issue which he took the knee for, police brutality and systematic racism, things like that. So it's unfortunate that we're still talking about Kneeling's anthem, and the fact that now it's made more about Trump than what the actual cause was.
Do you think in this political climate that sticking to sports is something that is even possible?
I mean, I don't think there's ever been a way of just sticking to sports. I mean, we're all people. That'd be like, oh, you stick to politics, you stick to journalism. I mean, we all are people. We have multiple dimensions to us, and I think you bring that onto the court. That's what makes people marketable. So you can't market somebody's outside interest, but then say don't speak about this topic. And I think a lot of athletes right now, especially here in the NBA, have the freedom to speak their mind. The commissioner encourages that, owners encourage that, coaches encourage that. We're free to do that, but I think athletes across the board are now using the voices more to speak out and be heard.
As a kind of guy, what are your talks about Coach Williams and the team saying they're not going to go to White House?
I was happy to hear that. They stood up for what they believed in. I mean, I know there was some scheduling conflicts on that type of stuff. I don't know the true story behind that, but they said they couldn't go. But I'm glad that in the wake of everything that's happening now, that they weren't part of that.
Is it a difficult issue, Harris, in terms of weighing you don't want to disrespect military, first responders and all that, but also being true to yourself and speaking your mind?
Absolutely. During the Olympics, I had a chance, well, the team had a chance really to be around a lot of, people who have served our country, military, people who have lost family members in wars and stuff like that. And, they were fighting for the right to protest if you choose to. They were fighting for us and to have the ability to do what we want to do. So I don't think there's ever been a lack of respect, at least from myself and the Mavericks, the team here, for anybody in that position whatsoever.
Even before you stepped on the court in Dallas, you had the interactions with Chief Brown and all that kind of stuff. Well, how important is that to you as far as your voice in society?
I think it's huge. I talked about that during my campus summit that I did in South Dallas. Having police officers and kids interact. I think that interaction is important. The very first time a kid interacts with a police officer, it can't be in a negative light. It can't be, put your hands on the steering wheel, let me see your license registration. If you can see that person in a normal light, then when you see a police officer, you don't see, someone that's a bad person. You actually see that person. For a police officer to interact with these kids, not in the circumstances of, pulling them over and stuff like that, they see them as just, a normal kid. I used to be just like you, trying to play basketball.
What was playing at the floor like physically on your body?
Rick, how do you feel about the way that sports and politics are intersecting these days, particularly Trump's recent comments and actions, and what advice have you given your players on how to handle those issues?
This was a topic last year as well, and we met with our players again today and told them that we support them 100%, whatever they decide to do. My understanding is that they're gonna talk about it, and they're gonna decide as a team, what the best course of action is, if there is a course of action, and they'll go from there. But look, I support my players, and in terms of the politics of it, today's media day for the Dallas Mavericks, and it's time to talk about basketball.
Coach, you talked about Dirk going into his 20th season and possibly even beyond. Is he having as much fun today as he was when he was a rookie? And how do you see him as a mentor to those younger fellows on the team?
He continues to have fun with this. He's a guy that loves the work and the processes involved in getting ready to play. He loves working on his body. Maybe not as much now as he did a few years ago, because it does get tougher as you grow.
With the NFL and Trump.
Well, it's disappointing times. Obviously, it's 2018. You would almost 2018. You'd hope stuff like that wouldn't be in the news anymore. It wouldn't make news and be an issue, but it is. So we're it's tough times, I think, for everyone, and divisive times, and you know, you gotta do your best to kind of stick together and you know, promote love and all the good stuff instead of only bad stuff in the news. So that's where I'm at.
Just back in 2011, what did that White House visit mean to you?
It was something incredible. It was something we looked forward to. It was an honor to be there and represent the Mavericks there, and give the president his jersey and the ball, and that was something I felt really honored to do. And yeah, that's all I can roll.
Dennis, take you back to, you're from Fayetteville, Fort Bragg is right there, your dad was in the military. How do you feel about some of the national anthem protests that you've seen, knowing that you're from an area where so much about Fayetteville is based on the military?
Well, I think the whole concept of the anthem protest got misconstrued because it didn't have anything to do with the military or the president or anything of that nature. It was about police brutality on mostly blacks, and you know, there was no justice served. That's what it was all about. So, me being in Fayetteville and those anthem protests, it don't really bother me because they don't go together.
Now being in the NBA, where so many people have been speaking out and have freedom to speak out, is that comforting to you?
Yeah, it definitely is. Everybody got the right to freedom of speech here, if I'm not mistaken. So the fact that people can do that is great. That should be something that's regulated.